Hello, witches. Grab your goat. Grab some shoulder pads. Fluff out your hair because it is time for the Witches Movie Coven. Yes, witches, real witches, right here, talking about witches and real witches in movies. Good ones, bad ones, and everything in between. My name is Patti Negri. I am one of your hosts, and let me introduce you to my co-host. Let's start out with the beautiful Richard-Lael.
I am Richard-Lael. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I would be a. That's right. I am known as a gentleman psychic. I'm a psychic medium. I used to be a psychic small, but I gained some weight. And unlike all other psychics who are doom and gloom and love and light, I'm a happy medium. But again, I used to be a small.
Thank you very much. And with the golden locks, Jason.
I am Jason Mankey, Llewellyn author, 10 books and counting. This is my 10th book. Yay. High Priest Raymond Buckland. Other than that, I'm a pretty harmless drudge.
Thank you. And as you can see, Heather and Courtney look a little different today. They are both elsewhere doing fabulous things, but we are lucky to have the fabulous Tabitha and Thumper. Let's take it over to Tabitha.
Hi, I am Tabitha Meadows. I am a medium and psychic, and I am excited to be here talking about 1987. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And never least, with a lively hat, Thumper Forge.
Hello, I am Thumper. I am auditioning for the role of Heather Green tonight. I am also a Llewellyn author. I wrote the upcoming Chaos Apple, Magic and Discordianism for the Postmodern Witch. And Heather, who is not here this evening, is the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, A Critical History of the Witch in American Film and Cinema. And I will be referencing this book heavily tonight.
Yay! And since we're Joel showing books, Witchcraft is now out. It's been out several weeks. So if you have a haunted doll, you want to make a poppet. Haunted dolls are kind of dangerous these days. As you can see, check out Dollcraft everywhere and on my website. Look at all these books everywhere, books and goats and goats and books and goats. So this week's movie is Hello Again, 1987 in all its glory. Who will you all watch it this week? Available a few places. And just in case you didn't watch it, Richard-Lael, do you have an unbiased synopsis of this lovely film?
Hello again. I certainly do. As a former Christian, I did that for you, Thumper. I did that only for you.
Oh, my heart is so full.
So what can I say about 1987's Hello Again? Shelley Long. Well, not to be confused with Shelley Short. That's a whole other person. Shelley Long, fresh off of Cheers, decided that she would marry Tom Hanks, and then they would buy a big house in New Jersey, and then it would be a money pit. And then clearly they got a divorce because she's living in the same house with another guy. And then she's this clumsy, needlessly clumsy blonde. Clumsy all the time. Clumsy. And of course, her doctor husband is somewhat of a cad who likes to tell her that she needs a facelift and she needs work done so that she can be attractive to him. Anyway, so she goes to her sister, who is a what? A witch. Her sister's a witch, a sandwich. Her sister's a witch, and she happens to live in New York City. So she goes to her sister, and then she chokes to death on how stupendous this film is, and dies. And then as she's dying, another doctor who is not her husband doctor is trying to save her and clearly is in love with this woman who is dying. And then she dies anyway. And then 1 year later, to the day, 1 year later, her sister is not crazy. Apparently, she's a real witch and can somehow bring someone out of the grave, even though they have been embalmed and dead for a year.
Like you do.
As you do.
And
she appears in corporeal form She has somehow completely risen from the grave, but not dirty. I don't know how that worked out, but she did. She rises from the grave. There is, however, one caveat. Well, she doesn't know it yet. She has to find true love. But she goes to her old house, the money pit, and instead of being Tom Cruise, I mean, what's his name? Tom
Thanks.
Hanks. Instead of being Tom Hanks, it's another guy who is, in a year, they have gotten rid of everything. So she goes to find where her husband lives, and she finds him in bed with her former friend. And of course, now they're married. Only a year. It was like, here, get the out. So anyway, they get remarried. He has no taste. He gives her the dog, but she has to fall in love. She doesn't know it. Sister knows it. Yes, she has to fall in love. She becomes instantly famous because now she is somehow she has escaped death or the grave or achieved immortality. Anyway, he starts falling in love with a doctor, the other doctor who was trying to save her, but now she's dead, but alive, but dead. And she falls in love with him, and he, I kid you not, lives in the apartment of Ghost. Patrick Swayze. Ghost. Just to drive home the point, you see. And then the sister falls in love with a millionaire who happens to live what I think is the Dakota building where Rosemary's Baby is filmed. Just because you have to throw in as many architectural things as you can see. Anyway, everyone is happy in the end because they all fall in love with the people they're supposed to be with. There is some sort of the woman was exposed as a fraud. It somehow came out that Shelley Long was dead, much like the rest of the movie. But then they lived happily ever after. Photo album now. That's it.
Thank you. Now that we are clear on the plot line of the Money Pit, now we do not have Heather, but we do have Thumper Forge. Is there 5 more things perhaps that we need to know about this lovely 1980s film?
There are, and since I'm channeling Heather, I've been asked to bring a scarf.
Yes.
And this is the only one I could find on short notice. It's like 6 feet long, but this is my Heather scarf.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
It's lovely.
I agree. Thank you. It was handmade for me. So the movie itself, Hello Again, was not a box office success, which in a way is kind of surprising because it had a spectacular cast. Shelley Long was starring in it. Shelley Long had just come off of Cheers, where she had played the character Diane Chambers. She was nominated for an Emmy for this role, and she won 2 Golden Globes for the role. Judith Ivey, who plays her sister Zelda, was a 2-time Tony Award winner. I remember her best as the character of CJ in the final season of Designing Women, but I think a lot of people might know her best as Keanu Reeves' mom in Devil's Advocate. Corbin Bernsen, who played her husband, he was very beloved at the time for his role on LA Law, and he also played a major role in the Major League movie franchise. Sella Ward, who played the new wife, was herself an Academy Award winner. She had won an Academy Award for her role on the series Sisters. And then Gabriel Byrne, who has never won anything, but he's been nominated for everything, and he's been in everything. And he's both my favorite Satan and my favorite Catholic priest. Like he's brilliant, and I adore him. So those were all the key players. The movie was directed by Frank Perry, who himself had been nominated for an Academy Award for his direction of Mommy Dearest. And it was written by Susan Isaacs, who was a best-selling author. She had written a book called Compromising Positions, which she had adapted into a screenplay. And that movie also co-starred Judith Ivey. She was in that as well. Coincidentally, Compromising Positions was also about a Long Island housewife who goes on adventures. Very similar to Hello Again. So Susan Isaacs had a theme that she ran with and was and had some good luck with. The movie was distributed by Touchstone, and Touchstone was a division of Walt Disney Studios, but it wasn't like a separate entity. It was just sort of a front for Disney. In the mid to late 80s, Disney movies were not doing well at the box office overall. Disney was known for making family-friendly films and movies for kids. So anything they put out with the Disney logo on it that was rated PG-13 just didn't do well. People wanted Disney only to make family films. So they created the sort of Touchstone imprint and started putting out more adult movies. They started putting out R-rated movies. And it was kind of a scandal at one point when like general audiences realized that Disney was behind Touchstone because Disney was supposed to be so family friendly, and suddenly they were putting out these movies that weren't. Um, this movie was Shelley Long's first project after Cheers. She left Cheers. The rumors were that she left Cheers to pursue a movie career, but she already had like an extensive career before Cheers. She just wanted to do something different. And this was the first of a 3-movie contract with Touchstone. So she made Hello Again, which didn't do well at the box office. Then she did Troop Beverly Hills, which should have done well at the box office because that is, I love that movie. I love that movie
my
irrationally.
Lord.
It was like, that was like a slumber party fair movie. Like we always watched it at slumber parties. And she also made Outrageous Fortune, which co-starred Bette Midler. That one, although it got mixed reviews, was a box office success, and Bette Midler received a Golden Globe nomination. Although in interviews, she spoke of Shelley Long the way producers at Cheers spoke of Shelley Long. Apparently, she was not that easy to work with. So all that aside,
Shelley Long got Shelley short.
She did. She got Shelley shafted. So all that aside, this is a good time to talk about the Satanic Panic, which I put far too much effort into explaining to Gen Zers on TikTok that this actually happened. But the Satanic Panic was a period from the early 80s through the early 2000s where people genuinely believed that there was this international cabal of Satanists who were kidnapping children and performing ritual sacrifices. And like my mom, who was a lovely, very sane woman, wouldn't let our cat outside on Halloween because the Satanists would get it. Like it was just understood that there were Satanists everywhere.
Because they were eating the cats, they were eating the dogs.
No.
They were eating the people who lived there.
Yes. So movies at this time, especially as the Satanic Panic was really taking hold, there was a resurgence of movies about witches, but witches were portrayed in very specific ways. With one or two notable exceptions, they were almost always women, because if you let women think for themselves, there will be witchcraft and dancing. So they had to be portrayed as women. They were either portrayed as satanic or monstrous, or as objects of ridicule. Or like in the case of Hocus Pocus, they were both. They were these bumbling satanic witches. And it was important to show witches as objects of ridicule, specifically because it was a way to make fun of the New Age movement. So, witchcraft leads to devil worship, or everybody's going to make fun of you. Either way, you don't want to mess with it. So those were the kind of themes that were appearing in witchcraft movies. And Zelda was very much on that bumbling side of things. She was an object of ridicule in the movie. Yeah, she resurrected her sister, which was quite the feat. But she was also portrayed as very over the top, bumbling in her own right, very oblivious to the reactions of people around her. She would say and do things and everybody would cringe and she wouldn't notice it. And there was also sort of a point made in the movie that Zelda was making a lot of money off of this, where there was sort of in one of the little news broadcasts about she's come back to life, but look at this whole industry that's cropping up around it. And it's kind of pointing out the financial motivations of the New Age movement. But when it comes to Zelda, what I really want to talk about is her as an archetype. And this comes directly out of Heather's book, Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. Zelda is what's called a clown witch. And a clown witch, throughout literature or in movies and film, they're always dressed in very, usually kind of oversized clothing, big poofy sleeves, big bell collars, to really give off the more of the impression of a clown than a villain. Clown witches are generally not villains, or not villainous, even if they are the bad guy. because they are there to entertain rather than frighten. And if you think of like Endora from Bewitched, or Aunt Queenie from Bell Book and Candle, which we've talked about on this show, um, they cause a lot of problems and they act as foils for the main characters, but they're ultimately kind of harmless, or at least their hearts are in the right places. They're just there to entertain. And Zelda, with she had the flamboyant clothes, she had the big red curly hair, which Heather points out in her book is reminiscent of a big clown wig. So even though Zelda was there to sort of make a negative point about the New Age industry and about witchcraft in general, she was also very much carrying on a fine art typical tradition. So in that respect, I liked her quite a bit. And those are 5-ish things you need to know.
Thank you. That was good. Thank you very much. Okay. That magical child. So
Boom.
wow, very cool. Is it still there?
No. It closed, I think, in the late 90s, but it outlasted its owner, Herman Slater, by almost a decade, I think. And I think there's a mail order business now called Magical Child that uses some of the same formulas of the store. But that was a big deal, like in witch history. That and the Warlock Shop, which is its predecessor, Witch History.
What?
Witch history.
Witches. Oh.
Every week.
Richard-Lael is sharp tonight. Jason is less sharp tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the movie. It was so 80s. That white dress, I had it. I had it. All those layers. I had the shoes. I had the fringe. I had the gauntlets on her arms, the gauntlet gloves. I had it. And you kind of had to. So it was really hard to watch this film, except for I had like a little memory lane back to the 1980s. And with Zelda, I was a seeker, and I discovered spirituality through Shirley MacLaine. Mm-hmm. And Zelda was Shirley MacLaine. And it was like, I remember seeing her live in Beverly Hills. She was at a theater in Beverly Hills doing her out on a limb tour or something like that. And I found the truth. It's Shirley MacLaine. Yes. And that was my intro into the whole New Age thing, and spirituality raised completely without it. I soon took a left turn once I went to a Long Beach Women's Spirit, Wiccan gathering, I think. And because it was a little too pastel-y for me, the whole Shirley MacLaine thing, just a little too pastel-y. But it was my starting point. So I really had fun watching Zelda. But I didn't know anything about the film when I watched it. I never do. I'd never seen it before. I just kept thinking this had to be a made-for-television movie.
Yes.
I've never seen anything so rough in life. The dialogue, the acting, the movement. It's like, this has got to be a Hallmark movie that's made for Saturday afternoons or something.
Yeah.
We recognize these people. We mostly recognize them from television, so it's a TV movie. But the longer I watched, the harder it really got. I liked Shelley Long in The Money Pit. I liked her in Cheers. This movie, I cringed every word she said, every bad fake fall and trip and clumsy moment. I was like hiding, like when animals are things. At least no animals died. So that.
There was a charbroiled fish.
There was.
Well, it was already cooked though.
It was already cooked.
And there was a Korean chicken ball. A chicken did die to make the Korean chicken ball.
Korean chicken
That's
ball.
true.
Okay. I'm not that bad. I'm that bad, but I'm not that bad. I didn't have to hide my eyes anywhere except when anybody talked in the dialogue throughout the film. But it was definitely 80s fun. The party clothes, the everything, what they thought was the upper society thing. I was on the Love Boat in the 80s. That was my weird television world. It was goofy.
Critics really, the consensus among critics was that it was a high concept movie, but with sitcom dialogue. And that's what contributed to sort of the roughness in trying to watch it is that it is kind of a cool concept. And I made a comment on social media earlier today that if it was made with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, it would sort of make more sense. Like I can picture this as like in a very Bringing Up Baby kind of way. But setting it in the 80s and then having kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? Not rough dialogue, but just the awkwardness of the dialogue, the lack of emotion, it did feel very made for TV. And granted, it was a vehicle for a lot of big TV stars, but it didn't translate to the big screen as well.
Thumper, though, there's a difference between this movie and sitcoms. A lot of sitcoms in that era were funny. This movie was not funny, and you could see it throwing out one-liners and trying to be funny. Yeah. And every time it did, it was like, groan. This is not a good joke. This is just bad.
I did think the scene at the end where Shelley Long starts pretending to channel the dead husband, I thought that was funny. I got a big kick out of that. But at that point, it was also close to the end, so I was happy.
I think this film was a great concept. I think that it could have been about an hour and 20 minutes shorter.
Starring Shelley Long, rolled in credits.
I will say I loved the magic aspect of it. So the bumbling clown witch summons her sister from the dead from this old grimoire. And then to make certain that nobody out there in the world tries to summon someone from the dead in a bad 1980s dress, they have to go, it's all of the, I summon you, hudja budja huda, speaking in tongues. And then they say, oh, but it only works if it's 1 year from your death and you're really, really loved and you died before you were supposed to, and that the planetary alignments are all in the same.
The moon, the earth, and the dog star. Serious.
It's a very serious spell.
I will tell you, it deterred me. I have been deterred from trying to use that spell.
I thought it was weird that when she came back, she was wearing the dress that when she tried it on, everybody was like, oh, that dress is beautiful. She's like, it's not me, it's not me. And then she came. Did they bury her in that dress?
Yeah,
they did.
They buried her in that dress.
Oh, that's not kind.
Well, it was the wife. It was the new wife who was sort of being vindictive. She the entire time is telling her, "Oh, you're not attractive enough. Your husband will leave you. Your husband is going to leave you." Meanwhile, she had to have been having an affair at that point because.
Yeah. I must have looked down or passed out for a second because I didn't realize that they had actually put her in that dress for the funeral.
It was easy to do. It was easy to pass out for any amount of it. But yeah, they buried her in the dress, and they did so just because they knew it wasn't her.
Yeah.
And nobody actually cared. The husband didn't care. The son, I guess, might have cared, but at the same time.
Although at that point in the movie, it was really made clear that everybody else's opinion of her was more important than her opinion.
And I did like
I can see that.
I did like what Mary Jane had said about the when she's going to the emergency room, and instead of trying to save her life, the doctor just looks into her eyes longingly and says, "Live, breathe, live." Like, what is that? Yes, stop saying that and do CPR, you dumb.
Okay,
I'm not a doctor.
In defense of the film, if I was choking in an ER and Gabriel Byrne leaned over and said, "Live for me," I'd have been like, "Okay, I'm fine now."
I want to know why they didn't try to exhume the body. When her sister pops her in, she's like this being of light. There's no body. There's no effigy. She just like she's in and off ships on Star Trek. So that's that's one thing that I had a slight issue with the magic end of it.
That's a good point. And that would have solved a lot of the problems of, is she faking it or not? They could have just proven that there either was or was not a body.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like a being of light that coalesces above the tombstone when she comes back from the dead. And while it's happening, you're going, no, don't come back. No, stay dead. Stay dead. Movie done, over.
Well, it was kind of cool though that when Kim was trying to prove that she faked it, she brought up I'm going to butcher this, tetrodotoxin, which is a new presence in pufferfish. There are accounts where it's believed that this is an ingredient that's put in powders that is used to induce a death-like state for people to serve as zombies. So I can appreciate that they did take the time to do a few things that were, in the real world and less like entertainment. So,
although that's something I didn't catch earlier when you pointed that out, because that actually popped up in last week's movie as well with the the Datura, but bringing in like the zombie element into the movie is also kind of ties into the satanic panic idea of magic from people of color is inherently evil. So she's using the evil black magic to fake her death, which is also evil.
Might have been better as a zombie movie.
I mean,
right? Like Shelley Long's
not,
zombie rampage across New York City. Brains, rich people brains.
With the acting, you could have just said it's a zombie comedy and be like, oh, okay, that explains everything.
That would explain the dialogue and the performance of the actors. Yeah. That would have helped.
There was another thing that I wanted to talk about.
Oh God, too, from Beverly Hills. Oh no. Make it go away. Stop.
When Lucy is about to choke on the piece of food, her sister said that she had a purple aura about her. Well, purple is a high vibrating color, so it wouldn't have been a death color. So I wanted to kind of clear that up a little bit too. Purple. Hello, Prince wore purple. There was a reason for that because, like I just said, it's a high vibrating color. So I did think it was cool that they connected energy work with witches to this movie, and that she was talking also about the chakras and auras and that sort of thing too. So I did like that aspect of it.
And who let the sister in the ER while the sister is dying, and she's got all of her bells.
All of the body. She's working
she's
her
in
energy.
the ER. Come on.
That would have never happened.
Actually, the character I liked was the goofy billionaire guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was wonderful.
I didn't cringe when he spoke. He was fun. He was a character I bought into.
Yeah. He liked Zelda for Zelda.
Yeah.
And they fell in love instantly in 20 seconds. Like they just looked at one another and were like, you are a kooky new age witch and I'm a billionaire. We should be in love. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't it just warm your heart? Didn't it warm your heart?
It did.
Linear time was such an illusion in this movie though. Like,
well, no. That's love on a quantum level. That's real life too. You're no matter where your other part is, you're always connected to them. So there's some science in that. There is some science in that.
Like when Jason and I met for the first time.
It was a pretty lovely meeting. That's for sure.
It was. I snuck up behind him and screamed Jason Mankey, my old nemesis.
He did.
And he screamed my mortal enemy, and then we embraced.
Yeah. Like you do.
The wands came out. Oh.
That was later in private.
I did think it was funny that when Stella Ward's character had the press conference where she was like, she's faked it. She's used zombie toxins to do this. And Shelley Long's character, of course, did just sort of said, I have nothing to say. And then she was like, there, I fixed it. Now all the pressure's off me. And immediately Gabriel Byrne was like, well, no, now I've lost my job. And they like walk outside and Zelda's bookstore is closing and her son's restaurant is and it was like, it has been less than 3 minutes. And everyone's lives have fallen apart. And then they all meet for lunch And Shelley Long's like, sorry guys, didn't mean to ruin everything and destroy your livelihoods. And they're like, oh, dead lady. You know, that to me was hilarious. It was not supposed to be hilarious, but I found that greatly amusing.
I liked how her 18-year-old son immediately became an award-winning chef and opened up a restaurant at the age of 18, possibly 19. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie is he's just talking to his parents while the restaurant is full of people, and he's back behind the counter cooking. You cannot do that when you work in a restaurant. There's not time to have a little leisurely chat with mom and dad, especially when your mom comes back from the dead while you're running a restaurant full of people. I think I've watched too many cooking shows.
I think he got famous. I think he got famous because he married an already famous chef. They kind of qualified it. Oh, you're whatever. His wife was an already famous chef.
Yeah.
So that to me justified him getting famous so fast and so young.
Shelley Long was really holding everybody back on that phone.
Everybody's life got better once she was dead.
Yeah,
that's true. But what I couldn't justify though is that Shelley Long is dead. She's dead for a year to the day, and then she shows up at her 18-year-old son, and the first thing he says is this a mask? It's like there's no emotion. There's no
emotions.
I'd like to point out that Cheers also got better when Shelley Long was gone.
That's also true.
That was the big fear, that if she left, everybody was like, oh, she's the linchpin of the show. What's going to happen? And Kirstie Alley was like, hold my beer. So that is a good point.
For real.
I have to admit, though, I really loved Shelley Long as Carol Brady in the Very Brady movie.
Yes. She was very good at that. She was very, very good at that.
I really enjoyed her in that.
Everyone in that movie was ridiculously good, I thought.
Just Gary Cole.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
The girl who played Jan was amazing.
Dead on.
RuPaul was in there.
We should talk about other films that came out. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Go on.
I was going to say we should talk about some other films that came out in 1987 because they weren't all schlock. We have a list. That we have compiled. 1987 also included Princess Bride, Jason Mankey's other favorite outside of The Sword and the Stone. The Running Man, Full Metal Jacket, Spaceballs, The Untouchables, Dirty Dancing, RoboCop, The Lost Boys, Fatal Attraction, Mannequin, Angel Heart, Raising Arizona, and many, many more. 1987 had some really great films. This was just not
one of them.
Not one of them.
Angel Heart. Ooh, they should have put Shelley Long in Angel Heart.
Look at
Witches
her.
of 87. Witches of Eastwick was 87 too. I mean,
it was.
Oh wow!
In that other picture, that if we go back, the one before that. This one, her aura is really purple. There must be something wrong with this film. I mean, her aura is just purple.
That is so 1987 prom.
It is.
That's the image that got me. I mean, all she needed was like the bozo clown makeup on, really, to complete the whole thing with the big bow tie. You know,
the bow tie was very Minnie Mouse. I wonder if that was in her contract with Disney.
Yeah, you see it there too. It's really horrible. Like even that expression on her face, it's just this weird overacting that she didn't do on Cheers, but somehow thought was appropriate for this movie.
Oh, yeah. No, but the clothes were fun. I had that purple and black dress. I had the oversized suit with the shoulder pads and the 3 size too big blazer.
You didn't have the bow tie though.
I didn't have the bow tie.
No, of course not.
No.
You would never have done that to us, Patty.
I would not have.
You would never have betrayed us like that.
No.
Oh, Calvin mentioned the 1987 movie, The Lost Boys. That is my quintessential 80s movie.
Mine too.
That and Dracula is 2 of my top 3 movies of all time. Yeah. I love that movie.
Do you know the conspiracy theory about the grandfather in The Lost Boys?
No.
Tell me.
He's a vampire. He doesn't kill people. That's why he's into taxidermy. So he has a fresh source of blood. And that's why nothing surprises him. And at the end, he's like, if there's anything about this town I don't like, it's all the vampires, because he is one of them.
I like that theory.
Which I've watched it a million times. It's one of my favorites too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As a rule, in the vampire community, it is one of the favorites.
It's
Yes.
White is not.
What was that? I'm sorry, Patty. What was not?
Not.
Twilight.
Twilight. Oh,
Yes.
you don't like 35-year-old high schoolers who sparkle?
That was a big, huge debate back about when True Blood was out. There was always a debate between True Blood and Twilight. And if you were a fan of True Blood, you could not stand Twilight. And people would go at it for hours over to those two, the movie and those TV shows. But man, vampires definitely have a strong following.
Yes.
I had a coven mate who called me one day and she was like, "Oh, my daughter wants to read the Twilight books and I just need to make sure they're age appropriate. So now I have to read the Twilight books." And I'm just not looking forward to this. And she called me like a week later and she was like, "And Bella can't decide between Edward or the werewolf. And I just don't know who's she going to pick. It's fair."
How about both?
You're banished. You're vanquished. You're dead to me. No. Mm-mm.
I have to admit, I have never seen Twilight. I have never seen True Blood.
Good call.
Oh,
And I will
Calls.
not.
oh,
I will not.
oh my gosh. Nelson.
Mandela?
No, Alex. He played Lafayette in True Blood.
Yeah.
And his passing just came up. I don't know. I would give it a try, Richard-Lael, for Lafayette's character.
maybe
I
will.
loved it.
I would say just the first
love
couple of
him.
seasons. Just the first couple of seasons.
Yeah. Agreed.
Lafayette-
Agreed.
True Blood, I'll give True Blood a chance, only if I can perform that ritual from tonight's show. I call to thee, True Blood. Shaka, Goldie Dawn.
The character Tabitha, the character of Lafayette, was actually killed off in book 1 of the novel series.
Yes.
But when they introduced him in the show, the audience reaction to him was so strong that they had to rewrite the series to keep him alive.
Yeah, and there's lots of witches, lots of fae, and all kinds of
Full witches. I liked the witches.
Yeah.
And again, Hello Again might have been a better film if it had been a vampire movie. I mean, there's just anything to make this entertaining, to me, would have been okay. And it just never happened.
Jason, can you picture it? She comes back and she's like, "I'm alive," and they're like, "You're alive," and then she just starts.
Yeah.
Through all these 80s superstars.
Wouldn't you have loved to see Shelley Long chow down on Corbin Bernsen?
I would not have blinked for 90 minutes.
Right before she gets close and sucks the blood out of his neck, she just goes, "Cheers." I mean, that would have been a movie moment for all time.
For all time.
All time.
And then the theme song comes in from
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yep, everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows her name, and everybody knew her name. So, does anybody have quotes? Do we have anybody Courtney today? No quotes.
I can do some quotes.
I have a quote too.
Okay.
All right.
Richard-Lael.
I'm here. My favorite quote is when she's trying to put on that wonderful white number. This one, that great, beautiful dress that everyone had in the 80s. She says, it's over her head like this, and she's stuck in it. And she says, "I feel like I'm stuck in a Trojan, a ribbed Trojan."
With fringe.
With that one. What was that?
With fringe.
With fringe. Yes, I laughed at that one.
That was a very 80s joke, and that would have been a very naughty 80s joke.
Very naughty.
Ooh, yes, it would have been.
So racy Shelley Long. You don't think of her as racy ever. All right, who else has a quote?
Jason has quotes.
Okay.
So I'm not Courtney. I didn't sit there and type everything down, but IMDb has quotes that you can access anytime. And some of those are the ones that I remember from the movie, like when the Irish doctor says to Shelley Long, he goes, "Are you trying to get me to fall in love with the dog and then with you?" And I think it was supposed to be funny, and of course it wasn't. Zelda's eating meat but being upset about a fly has already been talked about in the chat, but the line is, "You just killed a transmigrating soul." I mean, that could have been Beethoven, Botticelli, Jack Benny. I don't know. Like, was she like a borscht comedian somewhere? It's really strange. And then the Lacey character, the conniving one, Cella Ward played her, right? She goes, "Of course. What do you get married for? Love? Love lasts 6-8 months tops. Money is forever." Let's see. Oh, and then this was like the worst joke in the entire movie. So Shelley Long's talking. "Of course, he may not be too thrilled to hear how her third husband died." And then the husband, "During? No, just after. According to Kim, he came and went." Ha 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 ha.
Racy.
Yeah. That was the one that I remember, I think, the most. Like, that was just terrible.
I think I immediately blocked that one out. Like, I remember everything right before and right after the joke, and my brain just kind of went, "Nope, we're not paying attention to that one."
You should never help a human being who makes his living suctioning thigh fat. Yeah, that's it. Those are the only quotes worth repeating.
Here's my thoughts on the acting in this movie. There was a line about talking to Gabriel Byrne's character. They said, "Well, tell me where did you come from?" He's like, "Oh, I grew up in Ireland." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can hear he's trying to do like a bad Irish accent." I did not know Gabriel Byrne was actually Irish.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't he Irish?
And I was like, "Well, fake that accent a little worse, Gabriel Byrne."
I think he was trying to fake an American accent for a while, but it was so bad. They probably had to go back and add a line that he was trying to fake an Irish accent or something.
Maybe that
or
was
something.
It.
Yeah.
Or he just sort of given up early on. They're like, make him say that he's Irish because he's not trying anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you were employed on this film, how hard would you try? I'd just be hanging at the craft services table the entire time, I think.
Yeah.
I would be in the writer's room going, "Or vampires."
Zombies, vampires, go. All right. Jason, do we have a Mankey movie minute or moment?
We do, of course, but we have 18 minutes of show left. I mean, I feel like we have to dunk on this movie for at least 3 or 4 more minutes.
Okay.
Right? We're just going to have a lot of awkward silence at the end, aren't we?
We can keep dunking on the movie after the minute.
Okay. All right. As long as we have more time to dunk on the movie.
We can. I mean, we can dunk, but maybe we need a Mankey mini moment.
All right.
Like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, here we go. All right. We got one. Let's do it. Let's go back in time to the 1980s. It was a time of big shoulder pads and women's clothes, and a time for even bigger hair. It was also a time when TV networks aired movies made for television, usually starring performers from their network dramas and sitcoms. I'm talking about performers like Shelley Long, who played Diane on the hit TV show Cheers, and Corbin Bernsen, who was on LA Law. Most of these movies were pretty cheesy with crappy synthy background music and formulaic plots. Oh, you're telling me that Hello Again was filmed for movie theaters? What the? This turd has Movie of the Week written all over it. After a few minutes of watching this monstrosity last night, my wife looked at me and said, "Is Heather Green mad at you? She picks these movies, right?" And I said, "I don't think she's mad at me, but maybe. Heather is not going to be on the show tomorrow night, so maybe she is doing this just to be mean to us. I feel like that's the only reason she could have wanted us to see this film." Hello Again isn't even like Ouija Shark or The Killing Tree, movies that are intentionally bad and everyone knows will be douche canoes before the opening title sequence even begins. Someone somewhere decided to invest in Hello Again and spend money on it. I've mentioned before in some of these moments that cocaine was very popular in the 80s, and this movie is another example of that. There are a lot of rather well-known actors in this movie, the most famous, of course, being Shelley Long. Did you know that Shelley Long left Cheers to star in this slop? This movie and her follow-up film, Troop Beverly Hills, basically killed her movie career before it even started. After those two films, she joined the Witness Protection Program and didn't resurface until 1995's The Brady Bunch movie. Life is full of regrets, but it's usually not filled with this many absolutely cringe-inducing films. And oh, this movie is cringy. Did you know that Long's character Lucy is a klutz? That point is made 24 times in this movie in the most uncomfortable ways possible. If you thought The Office was difficult to watch, or Curb Your Enthusiasm, they have nothing on this film. Watch Lucy get tangled up in microphones attached to a podium and then inexplicably attempt to lick a small saucer of red sauce like a cat while wearing a white blouse. Ha 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 ha! She stained her white shirt at a fancy dinner party. Oh, the comedy here is so sharp. It's like the dullest butter knife in your drawer, but somehow even duller than that. And yes, this movie is supposed to be a comedy, but it is neither funny nor truly entertaining. The film's climax might be the dumbest thing ever captured on film, and I've watched Your Highness twice. 2 times. Oh, and the post-credit scenes in the movie. They were trying to set up a whole Hello Again world decades before the Marvel Universe. But that post-credit scene, all those couples who hooked up and fell in love after knowing each other for all of 30 seconds, and they're all shown holding babies. If you want to have kids, go right ahead. But the inferences were, if you don't have kids, you aren't a real couple, and a woman's value lies in her ability to reproduce. My response to that are 2 raised fingers emanating from the middle of my hand. Irish actor Gabriel Byrne, who plays the doctor Long's character Lucy falls in love with, says that Hello Again nearly made him quit acting. I believe it, because Hello Again made me want to quit watching movies.
Oh, well done.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Did you, in the credits, did y'all see all the handlers for Shelley Long in the movie? Mrs. Long's hair. Mrs.
Yes.
Long. You saw that, Jason?
Oh, yeah. I am dedicated to this show, and I watch these movies, no matter how bad they are, until the very bitter end, which is why I saw the credits for the actors repeat 5 times in Ouija Shark.
I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene. Was it just pictures, or was it
it's
like
the pictures? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a photo book. Yeah.
I will say that the reason that they were having babies, they were shown holding babies, is because they finally embraced their satanic witchcraft and decided to be like me, who loves babies but can never finish a whole one.
That's how the son got his restaurant reopened.
Yeah.
Go.
Best meat pies in Long Island.
I rented the movie and it cut off at the beginning of the credits. So
Really?
I just, yeah, it really, which I was surprised by because I watch credits too.
You do have to fight with Amazon Prime to watch those credits.
You do.
They want to move you right to the next Amazon Prime original show. But I've tamed that piece.
And they didn't even tell me what it was. And they cut it off.
So I have a fun kind of scruples style question that I thought of during the Mankey movie minute moment. Okay, so you choke to death on a Korean chicken ball. You mysteriously come back to life a year later. Which family member's life are you going to ruin first?
Your husband.
That's a good one.
Whose life would I ruin first?
Yes, you come back, everybody is shocked. You're going to destroy their livelihoods. Like, which one do you go for first?
See, I have a laundry list. I actually don't. I don't know whose life would I destroy first. I mean, I think if I were to have suddenly found that I was undead, I would be pissed off. I'll be back to pay more rent and taxes.
She took it really well. Yeah, that was weird.
Right? Because I would be like, I was resting. Why did you bring me back here to get old and to have to go to the gym? Whoever summoned me, that would be the first person that I would ruin their life.
That is a very Buffy the Vampire Slayer take, because when they resurrected her, they were like, "Yay, we saved you from hell," and she was like, "Actually, I was finally at peace and happy."
Yeah.
Shelley Long has no memories though of the afterlife when she comes back, probably because she was stuck in purgatory as punishment for this film.
I can see that.
Do you think they put no emotion in the film I remember having emotions in the 80s. I really do. I do. And you know, when you go back and you find your husband and your best friend in bed, and she's just like, well, yeah, you got married. I was dead.
But were we allowed to have emotions back then, though?
There was cocaine in the writer's room, but not on set. That's apparently what the problem was.
Yeah, it was.
It was still the idea of women are supposed to get married right out of college, or while you're in college, you're looking for your husband, and you're supposed to be doing all your husband's bidding and being barefoot and pregnant. Still in that later stage. I mean, even when I had my son, and I had complications, and the doctor asked my husband who did he want to keep, the baby or me, and I was not considered in that question at all. I also asked for them to perform a procedure for me at that time too, while they were already there, and because of my age, they absolutely told me no. And I said, "Excuse me, this is my body. I had no dominion over my body in the 80s and 90s." So it was very frustrating. I live in Virginia, so it could have been just a Virginia thing, but still.
Yeah.
They asked your husband and not you?
Yes, ma'am.
There are procedures that require
your wife or your baby.
And there are procedures today that require a husband's permission in order for a woman to get.
Oh, I was of sound mind, very much alert, but something could have happened, but luckily I'm here, and the boy is not a boy, he's 30. So
they all live happily ever after.
I have to comment on Robert Hicks's comment. How dare you diss Heather, who can't defend herself? While watching this movie, my wife also said, "You know what we need to do is we need to take Heather and force her to watch equally bad films, Clockwork Orange style, for making us watch some of this movie." And Ari went to bed like 20 minutes after I started watching the film, so she didn't even get the full experience. But the opening 10 minutes was bad enough. And they're friends. They're friends. And Robert, Heather, and I have been longtime friends. It's okay. I'll tell her how much fun I made of her tonight. She's used to it on the show.
But how could your wife sleep not knowing the ending of the movie?
I didn't see the ending until this morning, and I slept very soundly. It actually was a big relief to be gone from the TV.
What if you had choked on a Korean chicken ball, and Ari would have had to wait a whole year to tell you that she didn't like the movie?
It would have been sad. No, she wouldn't have had to wait. She knew instantly. Once that cheesy synth movie starts and Shelley Long opens her mouth, this was wands down.
All right. Well, see, look at all that time we use still talking about this lovely film, because we are up to the time when we talk about things. So I guess if there is no more to talk about, let's get the wands out. Wands up, wands down.
Thumpers is up.
Thumpers is up. I sat through the whole thing and was like, wow, this is trash. And then I got to the end and I was like, I really kind of enjoyed it. And I feel bad about that.
Don't feel bad.
I think honestly, because it did remind me I felt like it was a very 1980s attempt to sort of capture the magic of a movie from 1938.
I feel like with the right enhancements to my brain, i.e., not being sober, and a bunch of friends on the couch, this could be a lot of fun. But watching it, sober without friends dunking on it with me made it a less fun experience.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I think that's very fair.
I love that. So yay, wands up for you, Thumper, and wands are almost up for you, Tabitha.
Yeah, I can appreciate it for what I just love 80s movies, so I could appreciate it for what it was. It was just it was entertainment. It was 80s entertainment, and I do remember watching it back then.
Okay, so we are looking at the chat room. We got wands up. We got wands up, horns up. We got I am digging a hole with my
that is one of the best quotes in the history of this show.
That is one of the best, right? Yes. So, and we got a thank you, Thumper. So yes, he's standing up for himself. I wanted to like it. Again, I love the 80s. I love the clothes. I love the weird thing. I just still think they should have had emotion. I think what if she would have went off with all these things happening? See Shelley Long actually act and not just pretend to fall down. There could have been so much. So much.
This is true.
I think she did act a little bit when she was channeling channeling the husband of
Holy
Ken.
crap, that was uncomfortable. And how would anybody buy that as a thing? And how would you concoct that plan thinking, you know what? I should pretend to be her dead husband. That will solve all of our problems, said no one ever. Right? I mean,
listen, I had an idea, and it's cruel, and I think you're going to be in. Next time, if you and I ever end up back at Witch Fest in Austin or anywhere that we're together, I think there needs to be drinks involved for you. There needs to be an audience. I think it should be you, me, and John Beckett. And right before the movie starts, we say, now, John, this is one of our favorite movies of all time.
Yes.
And then we pour cocktails into him and make him try not to say anything about it. I think this would be
like we could cry at certain moments, like when she dies on the Korean chicken ball.
He came from Ireland. He came from poverty to become this surgeon. It's just
they're soulmates. That's why they're looking at each other that way right now.
The bookstore's closing. Shelley Long, what have you done?
The stereotypes. Oh my God. All right. So we got 2 minutes left. We're going to cackle soon. Does anybody have anything coming up they want to talk about?
Yes, I do.
Go.
First of all, next week, Doctor Strange with Chad Hatter. Also, if you've made it this far and you have not clicked the like and subscribe button, do so now. It's free. We know you want to do it. And also it helps us out in the algorithms and, all of that stuff that YouTubers do. So that's what I have coming up. Also, I am supposed to be going to Scotland next year. It may be postponed, but right now that is still the plan. So, tracelesstours.com and then /Sacred Tours. That's me. Anyway, I'm easy to be found.
Thank you. Yes, please like us. Tell your friends. She likes me. She really likes me. Anybody else got anything coming up?
I'm going to be on the East Coast in August, and I'm usually not on the East Coast. I'm going to be at the Free Spirit Gathering outside of Baltimore, Maryland. And then the next week, I'm going to be at the Harvest Fest in Connecticut, not too far from New Haven. So if you're in the area, it would be great to see you.
Thank you.
And subscribe.
Subscribe. You should do like all the YouTubers. Subscribe. Hit
like and subscribe.
Okay. Anybody else?
I will in November, I will be at October's in Cleveland, Ohio for the launch of the Chaos Apple. And in the meantime, you can find me at all of the social medias, specifically TikTok, where I am very droll and witty, at Fivefold Law. And you can also find me at Patheos Pagan, writing the blog Fivefold Law.
Beautiful. Thank you. Tabitha?
I don't have anything coming up until the fall, but you can find me for private readings at Tabitha Meadows at travelerslight.life.
Thank you very much. All right. Anybody who's going to be in San Diego at Comic-Con next week, I am going to be speaking at Comic-Con on a channel called Witches After Dark. Witches of the East and West. There's 3 East Coast witches and me from the West. And so I'm really excited because I finally get to go to Comic-Con because I'm speaking at it. And then I've got events coming up all over the place, starting with an old opera house in Ohio. And then I'm doing Maine Horror and Paracon and all sorts of fun things. So besides liking us and filming it here, go to our personal pages and like us and follow us, our Instagram, our TikTok, because we need it. That's it. And it's 7:00. So we have one more thing to do. We could do a 1980s spell, or we could cackle.
I think we cackle.
I think we can.
You guys never vote for singing. You never vote for anything.
We sang Ouija Shark. We sang for Ouija Shark.
All right, you did, and I didn't get to do it. I wasn't there. So you did it when I didn't get to do it. All right. Let's cackle again. Witches, the way witches should.
Cackle with no emotion like this movie.
Oh, no emotion like the movie and bad acting.